Hey folks, welcome to the channel. I am Don. This is Rockin' the Country. I'm doing a gift request. Roger Smith, shout out to you, my friend. Thank you for this gift request. Roger sent me this shirt a while back, Jason Eady, and I'm wearing it not only because Roger sent it to me, and I like to do this from time to time when people send me these things, but because his second choice today was a song by Jason Eady. That's not the one I'm doing, because I'm doing Johnny's Hey Porter, because I hadn't done it before. So there you go. Thank you, Roger, for the gift for me to do this song. We're keeping traditional country music alive on the channel. There are other places that do songs sporadically, and some are dedicated to it as well. There aren't many out there, though. And so whenever you guys make a gift to the channel for me to do this, something like this, it just contributes to keeping these songs and these artists out there, because I'm convinced the traditional is going to make a comeback. Like bro country and Nashville country, it has its place. People like it. Some people will go from like rap into like bro country. But bro country is like the halfway house to traditional country. So eventually when they get tired of the bro country, the similar drum loop and all that stuff, they may make the transition into the storylines and the patience and the intelligence that goes into traditional country. So I'm a believer that the substance of traditional is going to make a resurgence at some point. I just don't know when. It's sort of like bell bottoms. They've come back around now in high-waisted bathing suits and stuff. Like 50 years later, they made a comeback. Traditional country never faded. It'll be back. All right. Hey Porter. I don't know this one. It's not Porter Wagner.
Hey Porter, would you tell me the time? How much longer will it be till we cross that Mason-Dixon line? At daylight, would you tell that engineer to slow it down? Or better still, to stop the train, 'cause I want to look around.
It's going north?
Hey Porter, what time did you say? How much longer will it be till I can see the light of day? When we hit Dixie, would you tell that engineer to ring his bell? And ask everybody that ain't asleep to stand right up and yell.
Well, he's heading south from somewhere.
Hey Porter, it's getting light outside. This old train is puffing smoke and I have to strain my eyes. But ask that engineer if he will blow his whistle, please. 'Cause I smell frost on cotton leaves and I feel that southern breeze. Hey Porter, please get my bags for me. I need nobody to tell me now that we're in Tennessee. Go tell that engineer to make that lonesome whistle scream. We're not so far from home, so take it easy on the steam. Hey Porter, please open up the door. When we stop the train, I'm gonna get off first, 'cause I can't wait no more. Go tell that engineer I said thanks a lot and I didn't mind the fare. I'm gonna set my feet on southern soil and breathe that southern air.
All right, so, oh God, there's so many thoughts I had during this song. He didn't even mention where he was coming from. He was just going south and from somewhere. But anytime I travel down to my friends in West Virginia, they're just outside Charleston and Dunbar, or if I go down to Charleston, South Carolina, or if I go to Asheville to visit my buddy, or if I go over to Nashville when I drive, I'm in Jersey, and I'll travel west on 78 then wind up taking 81 south through Carlisle, Pennsylvania. It's a major truck ride. I'm on that road for about 180 miles or so, as I recall, and then on down. But when I go from Pennsylvania, I think it's in Pennsylvania, not Maryland. I hit the Mason-Dixon line, and there's and I've got pictures of it. Maybe if I can find a picture of it, I'll post it. One that I took while driving. Maybe it was my imaginary passenger who actually snapped the photo. But I was driving, and it's the Mason-Dixon. It's like Mason-Dixon Road, but it's the Mason-Dixon line. And it got me thinking because he said he's down in Dixie. So Dixie is a definite ideological area, but I wonder how different people conceptualize Dixie. And then I started to wonder, I wonder if Dixie was just a name that sort of spawned off of Dixon. And then I started wondering during the song, well, who was Mason and who was Dixon? Because you got George Mason University. There's probably a connection there because where's George Mason? I think that's in Virginia. But then all these questions are popping up as Johnny's traveling south. But I mean, it was funny because he wanted the train conductor, he wanted everybody to stand up when they crossed the Mason-Dixon line and yell. He didn't want to miss that part of it. And then he wanted the conductor to open the door and all these other, and the engineer to blow the whistle and all this stuff. But I like the reference. What do you say? I could smell. Was it the dew on, well, what were the type of plants? It wasn't cotton. It was something. In any case, I just kind of love it when somebody's like, hey, I just can't wait to get back home. Because everybody wants to get home. You'll read stories of somebody, the Olympics are on now, and there's always human interest stories, but there are human interest stories in non-Olympic times too, where somebody defected from, like Yeonmi Park. I read her book on how she defected from North Korea. And you literally take your life in your hand because they will kill you. They will shoot you for trying to escape into China. And the border is heavily fortified, and life in North Korea is absolutely beyond freaking belief. If ever there was a war I was in favor of waging, if China didn't get involved to stop us on it, would be to go in and free North Korea. I mean, we had the Korean War that separated North and South, but even still, people who had absolutely brutal lives. There was starvation. They very rarely if they had fish, it was like once a year. They weren't allowed to express affection to each other. They still aren't. They can only have love for their supreme or their grand leader. Kim Jong-un and Kim Jong-il, the son, I forget which one's the son, I think Un. But nonetheless, when you hear their stories, as brutal as their homeland is, they still miss it because it just gets imprinted on us. So I'll every so often, I mean, it hasn't happened recently, not in the past couple of years, but earlier in the channel when I would do a reaction to a song from a band from the South, and they might make reference to Dixieland or, Hanks, if heaven ain't a lot like Dixie and all this. And then somebody, usually from the North, will, get upset about it, got upset about that. How could you do that song? These people are, whatever, and slavery and all this. I'm like, dude, they're not singing about slavery. And it doesn't matter where you're from. You still have, that's imprinted on your soul. It's still there. You might leave it. People leave the country to go to the city, and they stay in the city, but they still miss the country, or what have you. So a song like this, when it's dude's just happy to be getting south, and it's just a pure uplifting song. There was nothing negative. He didn't say I hated where I was. Just let me know when I'm back. It's pretty simple. So Roger, that was a good one. I was surprised I hadn't done that one. I mean, there were certain parts of it that sounded familiar because Johnny sings those songs. Various artists have their train songs, and Johnny Horton and so on. And then so some of the themes can bleed into one another. Cocaine Blues by Johnny, he knows he can't be free because he shot a man in Reno just to see him die, but the train whistle keeps blowing, and that's what makes him cry and this kind of thing. But all right, I'm going to rate this song It was really simple song, but it was Johnny, you know, and that bass line just moved it right along, kind of felt like the train, the turning of the train wheels. Yeah, I wonder about the pistons on trains. Is that what drives those? I mean, it's got to be, right? But man, those things got to be huge on those locomotives. All right, the number that popped into my head was an 8.8. I liked it. It was typical Johnny talk singing, and you're right in there with him, plain and simple. So, Roger, thank you again, my friend, for the gift and the request and making me think about my travels. And there it is. All right, guys, have a great day. I'll see you on another video and keep rocking the country.